2 years. 2 years I've been doing this YouTube channel as of the day of recording. Hello, I am Hegassen, aka Tom Fidzy, and today I'm going to talk about something that I realised I haven't actually talked about in those 2 years, and that is my opinion on the Straw Hat Crew. I'm going to be ranking the Straw Hat Crew from my least favourite to my favourite in terms of the actual Straw Hat Crew themselves. So, little disclaimer before I get straight into this. I'm not actually going to be ranking the characters how I would actually rank the characters when I'm comparing them to the rest of the characters in the One Piece universe. This is actually more of just looking at the characters as they fit onto the Straw Hat Crew and ranking them that way. So I'm not going to be taking necessarily just like pure strength and power scaling and stuff like that, or oh, I like this character because I think it's got a really fun design, or I like this character because she's hot, you know, stuff like that. It's more just going to be when I'm looking at them as a crew, and just as a crew, how then I would rank them. So because of that, some characters are going to be lower on the list than they would be in my overall ranking of One Piece characters, and some will be higher on the list than they would be in overall One Piece character rankings. So, if that makes any sense, let's get into ranking the Straw Hat Pirate Crews from my least favourite to my most favourite, he says, as he's wearing a hot pirate hat. So, let's start off with my least favourite at number 10. I should very quickly point out that this is mostly kind of improv what I am saying. I might make a few little stuttering mistakes as I go along, so please bear with me. On my screen, I only have the list, the top secret list that I am about to reveal. I only have that on the screen. So, number 10, my least favourite member of the Straw Hat Crew. And remember, this is just in regards to ranking the Straw Hat Crew. Someone has to be at the bottom, and that person is Tony Chopper. Because he's basically just a mascot. Even though he does absolute wonders as the doctor of the crew, overall, he's pretty much just sidelined, especially like post-time skip. He's pretty much just sidelined now to merchandise, and he spends almost all of his time in his chibi form. We rarely actually get to see him actually in the action anymore, fighting, using his points and stuff. And I feel like he is very heavily underused because of that. You know, he was in Whole Cake Island and he didn't really do much, to be honest. He was mainly just there on the sidelines again, had a little bit of interaction with some of the fodder, but for the most part, he did nothing. And that is very much Chopper. He was just there to look cute and to bring a few smiles, and he did a great job at that. But overall, for the rest of the Straw Hat Crew and for the rest of the story, Chopper, he feels very wasted. And one of the reasons why I think he feels very wasted is because his devil fruit isn't really utilised that much. Because he has such an interest in devil fruit, because he has the human fruit, it was the day he ate the human fruit, and he's expanded his knowledge. Even though he's an animal who ate a devil fruit, you know, he's expanded his knowledge on how to use the devil fruit to feats that we haven't seen any other zone users do with these points and going into monster point. It's such an interesting aspect of his character that never gets looked at least it hasn't really got looked at too much since he revealed all of his new point forms at Fisherman Island. And I just wish that we got to see him more in the fight and actually explore him, how he does all these points and forms and stuff like that in his monster point, and if he has any new ones. And I just wish he kind of stepped up from just being that mascot character. So because right now all he ever is the mascot, and if he does ever have any involvement in the plot, it's always like, I've got to cure something, and that's pretty much it these days. Chopper is, unfortunately, as cute and kawaii as he is, at the bottom of the list. Second to bottom, at number 9, is another character who might be a little bit controversial, and that is Nico Robin. Now, first of all, I will say, Nico Robin, if we're ranking this as best girl, Nico Robin would be number 1. But when it comes to the Straw Hats, Nico Robin is another character that is heavily underutilized, much like Chopper. You know, she has a great character, she has a great personality, an amazing backstory, and like Chopper, she has a really interesting devil fruit. In fact, a fantastic devil fruit, probably one of my favourite in the series. There's so much potential with it, and we hardly ever get to see it, at least post time skip. You know, we were seeing a lot of kind of freshness with it pre-time skip, post time skip, we haven't seen it as much. She can use it for attacking. She can use it for espionage, which is really cool. And Oda only brings it out a very few times. For the most part, Nico Robin is only ever brought out when they have a poneglyph that needs translated. And that is about it. For the most part, she is very sidelined. In Dressrosa in particular, very disappointing. She had a few good moments, then she got to her big fight and somebody else stepped in and stole the show. So Nico Robin, unfortunately, even though she is great, #1 girl in One Piece, she is only ranked number 9 when it comes to the rest of the Straw Hat crew, just because she is so underutilized and she has so much more potential than what we are currently seeing. At number 8, I will put Usopp. Now, Usopp is a character that in the early years of One Piece, even though he was annoying, I actually really liked him. And he is another one that suffers from post-time skip syndrome, where his character has kind of fallen to the side a little bit and feels a little bit wasted, particularly when it comes to his character development, because it's become a meme. His whole, like, I want to be brave, I want to be a proud warrior of the sea, I don't want to be a coward anymore. That storyline just feels like a bit of a meme and a joke right now. It's always been brought up as a gag, and he has not progressed at all. We had some great development in the past. The reason why he isn't any lower on this, because Usopp really annoys me right now, and the reason why he isn't any lower is because of that amazing development that he had, you know, in Water 7, with the Merry and becoming Soga King, and the fight they had with Luffy and all of that stuff, and the times where he was like fighting Perona and I'm always negative, such great moments like that. That is the reason why he's not any lower. Then we get post time skip, we get buff Usopp, we get ripped Usopp, and he's still a coward. He's always a coward, no more so than in Dressrosa. He was literally being carried around and it was just turned into a gag. As funny as God Usopp was, it was brilliant, it was making me smile, but in terms of his character, he was just being handed that prestige. And he had a little bit of like hype with the Haki, and then it hasn't been used since. I'm hoping 1-0 we're going to get some big Usopp developments. So far he's still showing to be a coward and annoying me, and I'll come back to this like cowardly character a bit later with another character that has been doing a phenomenal job and is making Usopp look quite bad considering how much it relates to his actual dream. And I'm worried as well for Usopp that we might not actually get an Elbaf arc where I thought all of this Usopp bravery was going to come together. Maybe there's still some stuff with Noland, because Usopp is always being quite heavily linked to a lot of the Noland stuff, so there's still potential for the future to Usopp to regain some ranks, but right now he's very annoying me with how stagnant his kind of character has become and how much of a kind of a joke and a meme his character has become. Very much like Chopper, being that chibi, Usopp now is just a running joke. At number 7 is the newest member of the Straw Hat crew. It is Jinbe. Now, first of all, I will say that Jinbe is this low because he is new to the crew, so he hasn't really had that much involvement with the crew outside of Luffy. However, outside of the One Piece crew, Jinbe is top 10 character, easily one of my favourites, and the reason why he is still reasonably high on this list, higher than characters that have been around for a long time, such as Usopp, is because of Jinbe's relationship with Luffy and how much Jinbe means to Luffy and helped out Luffy during a very difficult time following Marineford and all building up through Impel Down Marineford. The Luffy-Jinbe relationship was absolutely fantastic. They're like little moments in Fishman Island as well, and then him turning up in Whole Cake Island. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Jinbe's kind of become almost like a mentor, a father figure. Like I kind of see him as like a kind of a big uncle in a way to Luffy, just looking out for his nephew, and I love it. The only kind of downside really with Jinbe, like I say, he hasn't been on the crew much, so even though he doesn't really need to prove himself as a character, I'd like to see him kind of prove himself as part of the crew. He had that great moment in Whole Cake Island showing how good he is as a helmsman and helping out and stuff elsewhere, like in Fishman Island and stuff, and in Whole Cake Island at the beginning where he wasn't kind of officially in the crew. But we need to see him like bond more with the rest of the crew. He's getting some great stuff with Nico Robin, joining the kind of mature club of the Straw Hat crew. And he had some good stuff with Nami as well. Their shared history with Arlong. So Jinbe is climbing the ranks. I'm sure when at the end, if I ever do another video of this, Jinbe is going to be much higher up. But right now in terms of Straw Hat, you know, he's at a solid almost in the middle for me. And next, I have another character that I love, and he's in a good solid middle ground, and that character is Brook, the MVP of the Whole Cake Island arc. If it wasn't, though, for him being MVP in Whole Cake Island, I might have put him a little bit lower, because I was worried that maybe Brook doesn't have as much kind of development, can be a little bit sidelined, but he's kind of picking up the paces now, and he's just getting more and more focus and more epic moments. You know, he kind of like Jinbe, you know, he was still relatively new. I say relatively new, he's been on the crew now for years, but he was the newest member for a long time until Jinbe, so he hasn't had as much time as some of the other characters have to bond and interconnect. So Whole Cake Island was a really fantastic thing for him, which kind of kept him here in this middle ground. He's not like the most developed of characters, but he is an absolute comedy genius, and I like how has a very simple dream just to see Laboon, and that kind of relates to the whole Straw Hat's dream of getting round the Grand Line, because to see Laboon again you got to go all the way around. And I'm sure at the end Brook is going to be the one who's going to be telling the stories of the Straw Hats when the Straw Hats are long gone. So Brook, you're always making me smile every single time I see you, and for that you deserve your spot at number 6. And another character that is always making me smile is number 5, right in the middle. It is Franky. I love Franky. Like Jinbe, he would be another character that would be much higher ranked if I was comparing it to all characters. He is a top 10 character for me. His post-time skip design is a little bit goofy, and he has had some very silly things in the past, like, you know, just like One Piece silliness, using farts to attack and building a staircase and a bridge out of absolute thin air. You're like, that doesn't make any sense. But he is a fantastic, fun character. He built the current ship that they are on, so, you know, how can you not rank Franky? How can you not rank him high? Because without him they wouldn't have a ship at the moment, the Straw Hat crew. And I'm excited as well for Franky, because I think he's going to have a lot of development coming up when we start to get more and more into Vegapunk stuff. We seem like we're going to be getting close soon, so I expected there'd be some development going on with Franky there. He has great dynamic in the crew, but he can feel a little bit sidelined, I feel, sometimes. Sometimes, you know, I think it was most notable in like Punk Hazard. He's always like, well, I'm just going to go fix the ship, and then he disappears for a while. Kind of like Sanji sometimes. He goes off and he has his own like little adventures on the side, but whenever we do get those Franky moments, especially like versus Senior Pink, they are always really hype, fun moments. I love seeing Franky on screen, even if sometimes he is absolutely ridiculous. And what's most amazing about Franky as well was the fact that he was a villain at 1.2, and he has some good relations with the crew, but a little bit like Brook, he doesn't necessarily have as deep connections with everyone. But I'm really liking his growing romance, it seems, with Nico Robin. That is a absolute highlight for me right now in the Straw Hat crew. Number 4 is the one that I'm most worried about, and the one that's probably going to get me the most dislikes out of every single character. Now, don't take it out on the dislike button. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about my number 4 ranked Straw Hat, Zoro. Yes, Zoro, I'm only putting him at number 4, and hear me out. Because Zoro, he is a fantastic character. He is the badass of the crew. If you want a wow, epic, jaw-dropping moment, then turn to Zoro. Number 1 for amazing fights and amazing epic moments. Beautiful panels in the manga and beautiful scenes in the anime. He has some great like gags, amazing connections to a lot of the Straw Hat crew. I absolutely love the dynamic of Luffy, Nami and Zoro in early One Piece, and the Luffy Zoro's dynamic is fantastic. He has great relations as well with Sanji, that rivalry, and that really cute kind of like brotherly love with Chopper as well. But my problem with Zoro is that post-time skip, another case of post-time skip syndrome. I don't know what happened with Mihawk, but Mihawk drains Zoro of a lot of his personality, character, and most importantly, fun, because Zoro has become quite boring. He has the epic moments, but he's quite boring post-time skip. At least that I find that you don't get as many fun moments with Zoro anymore. He can feel quite sidelined a little bit at times. Quite often, you know, the rest of the Straw Hats will be having fun, bickering, bantering, and Zoro's just asleep in the background and not really getting involved. It's coming back a little bit with the 1-0 arc. You know, we got to see that Luffy Zoro together again, which was really, really cool, and I do want to see a lot more of that, which is why I'm not putting Zoro as high anymore, because I just feel like he slipped a little bit in kind of character development and stuff compared to other characters, and I'm quite disappointed right now that even though Zoro is getting some focus in 1-0, we're not kind of getting the backstory year of Zoro that I thought maybe we were going to get. Like, Zoro's potential connections to 1-0 are very sidelined. Some of it isn't even in the manga. In the anime, it's being released in supplementary things such as SBSs, and that is quite disappointing, following that we got like the Whole Cake Island arc and everything with Sanji. Makes me a little bit worried about Zoro's development. I know we still have the stuff with Mihawk, and that is fantastic, but yeah, Zoro for me, he's a character that he's just missing a little bit of that early charm that I wish would just come back a little bit, because right now Zoro, sometimes you're boring. Number 3 is like the opposite of Zoro for me. Number 3 is Nami. Nami is a character who in the most recent arcs I've really come to enjoy. Her character development has been amazing. It's kind of since the Zou arc, like Lake Dressrosa, when you know they split off, the crew split off, but particularly from the Zou arc, Whole Cake Island, and some of the stuff in 1-0. Nami's character has really developed for me. I'm really, really enjoying her. You know, as I mentioned, she had that stuff with Jinbe and Arlong, and in early One Piece as well, she was very heavily like mixing with like the core dynamic of the crew. Her relationship with Luffy is fantastic. Her relationship with Sanji as well, you know, you could easily be played for like romance, especially on like Sanji's side, but no, there's like a deep friendship in there, and it is fantastic. And it was like quite heart-wrenching as well at times in Whole Cake Island, seeing how upset and devastated Nami was with Sanji. You know, she's like the real emotional core kind of the crew, and you feel that as well in times like Drum Island, where everyone was working together to make sure that Nami got the best medical care that she could get. So yeah, Nami's just a character that just has grown and grown and grown for me. Even though Nico Robin is best girl, Nami as a character has just developed. You know, she was this coward, she was this weakling. This is what I was saying about Usopp, how Usopp seems to be stuck in being a coward, but Nami has had some moments where she has really stood up in front of Yonkos, you know, in front of Big Mum, stood up and has been brave, put on a brave face. Nami's character, I'm excited to see where it's going, because Oda's doing a really, really fantastic job with Oda. You know, she may sometimes just be there to get the clicks and to look good, but she's also got a fantastic character as well to her core, and I'm thoroughly enjoying her developments. Plus, you know, she's the navigator of the crew, and the ship itself has her orange trees on it. She's so like synonymous, so linked to the Sunny and to the whole ship, to the whole voyage. You know, Luffy would not be having his voyage if he didn't have Nami pointing him in the right direction. And because of that, yeah, Nami, you deserve your spot at number 3. At number 2, the thing that might be getting some more of those dislikes is Sanji. I'm ranking Sanji above Zoro because I absolutely love Sanji's character. Yes, sometimes his gag of every woman he falls in love with can get a little bit annoying. It reached its height in Fishman Island, where the gag took over from the plot, and him having nosebleeds actually became a plot point instead of like a metaphor, like that kind of gag is kind of meant to be. It's meant to be like a metaphor of like arousal and blood going places, but instead it became an actual plot point, and that was a real low for Sanji. And that's kind of where Usopp is stuck in that kind of gag becoming part of the plot. But then he's just had so many epic moments outside of that, like, and then he had the whole Cake Island, getting into his backstory, finding out about the Vin Smokes, him getting the raid suit, and then him, you find out why he hates his family, why he doesn't want that name, and then he still wears the raid suit because he's the kind of guy who uses his head, and even though it's going to put him to shame, even though he doesn't want to, he'll step up and do the right thing if that is what the situation calls for. He's always had fantastic moments when he had his Mr. Prince moments. I do kind of miss those Mr. Prince moments where he would go off and do his own like little investigating, especially in like Enies Lobby, Alabasta, those cool-headed moments of Sanji. Hopefully we're going to get a few more of them in 1.0. Certainly seems like it. So yeah, Sanji is a character that I just love. Also he's strong, but if you want strength, if you want the epic fights and stuff, yeah, that's your Zoro. But if you want the character, if you want like emotions, you go to Sanji. Even though his gag can be a little bit annoying, I love Sanji. I just wish he quit smoking. Quit smoking, Sanji, and you'd be amazing. You'd be a much better role model if you actually picked up the lollipop and put the cigarette down. But apart from that, Sanji, one of my favourite characters. These next two, Sanji and well, you can probably guess who the number one is. But Sanji and the number one are probably accurate to how I would rank actual characters of One Piece overall. I've just such enjoyed Sanji's journey. There's been highs, there's been lows, but it's been a great journey so far, and excited to see where it goes in 1.0 because his story with his family, I don't think is finished yet, and he also has a fantastic relationship with the rest of the crew as well. He's the chef, so he interacts with them all, and he might put Nami and Robin first at times, and he might hate Zoro, but as I said, he will always do the right thing at the end of the day and put his like shame to the side to do the right thing. His relationship with Nami in particular, as I've mentioned before, I think is fantastic, and the stuff between him and Luffy as well was fantastic too. So yeah, a lot of love for Sanji. Let's talk about number one. Number one is of course Monkey D. Luffy, the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, the main antagonist. How can he not be number one? And he is such a joy to watch on screen and to follow this journey. There would be no journey, there would be no One Piece, there would be no Straw Hat Pirates without this guy. And what I enjoy most about Luffy is that he's a character that gets knocked down and beaten down. Compared to some other protagonists from other anime, a lot of them are just like absolute superhuman beings that are just going forward, obliterating everything in their path. Luffy is getting knocked back, beaten down, standing up, showing his strength, and keeps pushing forward. And by the end of every arc, he is beaten and bruised, but he's still smiling. And sometimes he may be an absolute klutz and a complete idiot, but when the moment counts, his brain triggers, and he'll, like Sanji, he'll do the right thing, he'll think properly, and you just can't help but root for Luffy no matter what situation he is in. He has fantastic relationships with everybody in the crew. While not all of the members of the crew necessarily have good interactions with each other, at least that we see, Luffy has had standout moments with every single one. And I could not put him any lower than first place, to be honest. I don't know what else there is to say about Luffy and to why he deserves being in number one. He carried the show when the rest of the Straw Hats were elsewhere in training, through Enies Lobby, through not Enies Lobby, sorry, through Impel Down, through Marineford and the Boa Hancock stuff, and afterwards, Luffy was carrying the show on his own, and he built his own little crew. One of them was Jinbe as well, who later joined. So yeah, just a fantastic character, and that's my ranking of all of the Straw Hats. That was Chopper, Robin, Usopp, Jinbe, Brook, Franky, Zoro, Nami, Sanji, Luffy. I absolutely love every single one of these characters, but if I had to put them down in a list for just the Straw Hats, that would be my ranking there. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. How would you rank them from least favourite to favourite? What do you think of my placing of Zoro and Nami? They're the two that I most want to know. And my thoughts overall. Did I miss anything? Is there something that I should have brought up that maybe would change my opinion a little bit, and that I just haven't thought of? You know, a lot of this was kind of off the top of my head. Had a little bit of a thought of it. Obviously, I had to put it down, but a lot of the stuff that I said just kind of come to me as I've been recording. That's the style that I like here. That I've come to the style that I feel comfortable doing on this channel. Thank you for watching for the last 2 years. I've got 2 years worth of content. If you're new as well and you want to go back, I do manga reviews. I'll hit 100 subscribers and I am so flattered, so happy about that. I don't even know what to say to express how happy. I didn't think I'd actually get to 100. The YouTube algorithm is a nasty monster. So I'm just so happy that I actually managed to get to that milestone. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, that's been my ranking of Straw Hats. I really enjoy doing these videos, so I think I'm going to do a few more character rankings. Let me know as well down in the comments what else you want to hear. What other videos do you want to see on this channel, and do some more rankings of. Okay, I've been Hegassen. Bye! Hey, so thanks for watching. What did you think? Let me know about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed my video, maybe give it a like, and if you really liked it, why not subscribe? You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Twitch. Oh, and here's a related video you might enjoy, and something more fresh. I've been Hegassen, and I'll talk to you next time.